What's up, you virtuous Vegetas? This is Corey Porter with Unison Lair, back with another deck profile. Today we're looking at the set 10 starter Frieza Leader. With the reason Arata hit on the Surge Piccolo, a spot has opened up for another hand destruction leader, and Frieza might just be able to fill up that spot. As always, we stream every Tuesday, Thursday at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time over on twitch.tv/Shenron's Lair, so please feel free to check that out. We also have a Discord, so if you're looking for conversation, deck building advice, or just ruling questions, please feel free to check it out, and the link will be down in the description. Alright, let's get into our list. Alright, so first up, taking a look at our leader. So he's permanent. You can't include sand cards in your deck, and then auto, choose one Frieza army card in your battle area, place it in its drop area, then choose whenever this card attacks a leader card, your opponent chooses one card in their hand and discards it, then add up to one card from your life to your hand. Interesting note that it is an add up to one, so if you choose not to take a life, you're absolutely able to do that. Some really good applications for this, like maybe your opponent awakens really early and you want to swing into them without giving them advantage but still making them discard, you're able to do that. And you don't have to take a life if you want to just keep staying on your front side, which is a really nice effect. And then whenever your life is at 4 or less, you may draw one card, switch to one of your energy to active mode, and flip this card over. And then on his backside, auto, whenever this card attacks, draw one card. And then activate main. Once per turn, choose one Frieza's army card in your battle area and place it in its owner's drop area. Then choose up to one card in your opponent's hand, discard it. Then choose up to one green Unison card, and it gains critical for the turn. So pretty nice effects. You don't have to swing in order to get the pitch effect on the backside, and you're able to give one of your Unisons crit, which is always really nice as well. Moving on into the actual list. So first up, we're running a split on our Unisons. We're running a 4-2 line of the Frieza and the Bardock. So with our Frieza Unison, he's Frieza, Zeno, Darkness, Overflowing. So he's a 2 green spec cost, 15k. Permanent, if this card would lose a marker from an opponent's attack, you may place one card from your life in your drop area instead, so you're able to kind of keep him around, preserve him early if you need to. His +1 marker is choose one card in your hand, discard it, then draw one card. And then his -1 marker is activate main. Choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 4 or less, KO it, then choose up to one of your Unison cards, or choose up to one of your opponent's Unison cards and remove a marker from it. We don't have a ton of remove markers from Unison cards effect, so having that is really nice, and then just able to really cycle through the deck. There's cards we want to get in our drop to kind of get into some combos that we have going on. That's a really nice effect overall. And then you have to remember that on our backside, our leader is able to give this guy critical, which is nice. Then for the we're running 2 of the Super Saiyan Bardock Paternal Unison. So he is a 2 spec green, 15k auto. Whenever your opponent combos, you may place up to one card from their combo area in their owner's drop area. If you do, negate the skill for the turn. So because of how this is worded, it's not an auto once per turn. So you can, if they were to combo multiple cards, you can choose. You can wait to choose and pick a combo. If they combo a super combo, you can snag that. You just have to go combo by combo and decide whether or not you're going to activate this. And then for his +1, you may choose one of your green battle cards with an energy cost of 1 and KO it. If you do, your opponent chooses one card in their hand and discards it. So it's good, just kind of passive hand destruction, which is nice. And then for his -3, activate main, this card gets +5k power and triple attack for the turn. And so this is really good, again, with our Frieza Leader being able to give him critical for the turn. So you're able to get a 20k crit triple attack, which is nice. Moving on into our battle cards, we're running 4 of the Chilai Frieza Force Soldier. She's a 1-drop, 1 green, 4k. Auto, whenever you play this card, draw a card, and then activate main for a green and one other. Choose up to one green Frieza's army card with an energy cost of 2 or less from your deck and play it, then shuffle your deck. This allows us to get particular cards that we may need out of the deck into play if we need to get out of a certain situation. And if nothing else, it's just a good pay 1, draw 1. And then we can pitch it off the Bardock if we need to. So there's a lot of really good things going on there. Next up, we have the Doria, Frieza's Devoted Servant. So he's a 1 cost, 1 green. He's a 4k. Auto, if your leader card is a green Frieza card and you have a green Unison card in play, if this card is placed in your drop area from your hand by a skill, you may play this card from your drop area. So for that skill, we're looking at our Frieza Unison that allows us to choose a card in our hand, discard it. So if we discard that off of this, he just comes into play for free, which is nice. And then he has a activate main for 1 green. If your leader card is a green Frieza card and you have a green Unison card in play, add this card from your drop area to your hand. So we have just a loopable card. We can pitch it from the Frieza. He comes into pitch it from the Unison. He comes into play with the Frieza. We use Frieza's ability to pop him, make your opponent discard a card, then we can pay 1 and bring it back to our hand to do it again next turn. We can kind of set up a loop with him with the Bardock Unison by having him in play and just pitching him, making our opponent discard a card. So we have a lot of different interactions that we can really do with that, which is nice. Next up, we have 4 Infernal Emperor Frieza. So it's a 1-drop, 1 green, 10k. Auto whenever you play this card. Choose 1 card in your life and add it to your hand. This is some just additional self-awakening if you need it. This is searchable off the Chilai, which I forgot to mention the Dodoria is also as well. So it's really nice. He's also pitchable off the Bardock, or we can sack him with the Frieza Leader effect to pitch a card, which is nice. Next up, we have, for our super combo, 4 Android 18 Bionic Blitz. So if your leader card is blue or green, whenever you combo with this card from your hand, your opponent chooses 1 card in their hand and places it in the drop area. This, again, is just further hand destruction for us, which is nice. Next up, we have 2 Chilai the Beautiful. So it's a 2-drop, 2 green. She's a 15k auto once per turn. When one of your opponent's battle cards is KO'd, your opponent chooses 1 card in their hand and places it in their drop area. Again, just further hand destruction. She's searchable off the 1-drop Chilai. You could sack her with your leader. And then, so there's just a lot of really good things going on. With the Unison, he has an effect where you can KO a battle card, which then makes them force a hand discard, which is nice. We're only running a 2 of because she, as being just a 2-drop 15k, she's really easy to get rid of. And we don't necessarily need to see this card just a whole ton, especially since she's searchable off the 1-drop. Next up, we're running 3 Ribrianne Punishing Passion. So she's a 2-drop for 1 green. We're never actually going to hardcast her, but her main important aspect is she's an activate main for 2 green. If your leader card is green and you send this card from your drop area to your warp, your opponent chooses 2 cards from their hand and places them in their drop area. Again, just more hard hand destruction. We're able to pitch this off of our Frieza Unison to get it in the drop, which is nice to be able to really force a 2-card discard. Next up, we're running 3 Speedy Partner Limo. So he's a 2-drop, 2 green, 15k auto whenever you play this card. If there's a Chilai BR card in play in your battle area, your opponent chooses 1 card from their hand and places it in their drop area. So again, more hand destruction. She's searchable, or Limo is searchable off the Chilai, which as long as she's in play, then they get the discard, and then you can sack this for different other things, get discard, which is nice. It's 15k, so it can apply decent pressure. So all in all, just a really solid card. Next up, we're running 2 Surprise Attack Frieza. So he's a 4-drop, 1 green, 15k critical, and then auto activate this skill whenever your opponent's card is KO'd. If Surprise Attack Frieza is not in play in your battle area, you may play this card from your hand. It's just really good value to get a critical 15k into play for free. Next up, we're running 3 of the Kakunsa Beastly Maiden. So she's a 4-drop, 1 green, 20k, counterattack, negate the attack, then play this card. Permanent, if your lead card is green and it's your opponent's turn, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 2, so she costs 2. Then auto, whenever you play this card, choose up one of your opponent's battle cards and KO it. So not only is this a good negate, it's just a hard negate, but it also pops a card, which then works with the Chilai. That also gets us a nice 20k that's able to swing in and apply pressure. Just a really solid card there. Next up, we're running 3 of the Fuse Zamasu Deity's Wrath. So he's a 5-drop, 1 green, 20k indestructible, activate main for 1. If you have 3 more energy, choose green battle cards in your battle area with 5k power or more and a total energy cost of 5. Place them in your drop area, then play this card from your hand, and then auto whenever this card attacks, your opponent chooses 1 card from their hand and places it in their drop area. The fact that he is indestructible means that he is very hard to deal with. There's got to be dedicated cards in order to get him off the board. So whenever he comes out, he's pretty much at every turn, he's just making your opponent pitch a card. 20k, he's able to apply pressure. They're going to have to combo additional cards in order to get over him if they are trying to do that just to save the life. Which again, they're already having to discard cards, so there's just a lot of resources that have to go in to deal with this card in general, which makes him really solid. And then we have several cards where we can really just sack him to get him into play. This one in particular being the Frieza Charismatic Villain. So he's a 5-drop, 1 green. It's a 10k counterplay. You can't activate counterplay skills on other cards for the turn. Play this card from your hand. Permanent. If you have a green Unison card with 2 more markers in play, you can activate this card's counter skill from your hand without paying its energy cost. And then auto, whenever you play this card, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 7 or less and KO it. So this is just a free pop a card, which is really nice. 7 or less reaches just a ton of targets of the game. Particularly in this set 10, where not a lot of the bigger bomb type cards have barrier, so he's able to interact with a lot of things. This is also the perfect target to just sack to get into the Fuse Zamasu because he's already a 5-drop, so it's really nice. So for 1, you can get the Zamasu out, and then this Vegeta is able to pop things, which then also works with the Chilai. Whenever he pops things, you're able to neg a card, which then you can also use with the Surprise Attack Frieza to get that into play, and they get a 15k crit in play. So there's a lot of really just like combos kind of going on throughout the deck. And then finally, for our big bomb type card, we're running Black Smoke. Pretty much everyone knows that this is, but this is, again, you can just drop this to warp your opponent's hand, mill the top of the deck, clear the battlefield. There's a lot of versatility. He is just an activate main, so as long as he stays on board, You're able to do one of those options every turn. We're able to get a lot of cards in our drop because we're discarding a lot of cards with our leader and different effects like that. So we're able to get up that fairly reasonably. You know, the debate was between this or the Cell Xeno. I didn't feel like we had enough high cost cards more regularly to really justify trying to get the successor in play. So I felt like Black Smoke was something we could do more consistently. And it's just a super versatile SCR. Moving into the extra cards, first up we're playing 4 of the Cell's Earth Restoring Kamehameha. Just a 1 green. If your leader card is green, choose the one of your leader cards or battle cards, gets plus 15,000 power for the duration of the turn. And then auto, if all of your energy is green, whenever you activate this card, choose 1 card in your opponent's hand and place it in their drop area. So again, more hand destruction. It's defense for us. If we needed to use this, get plus 15 to our leader, which is nice, and then make them nega card. As you see, everything's really just working for that hand destruction engine. Next up for our negates, we're running a 3-3 split of 3 Shocking Death Ball and then 3 Dormant Potential Unleashed. So Shocking Death Ball is just a hard negate. It's also sparking, so if we have 5 in the drop, we don't have to pay our energy for it. And then we can KO something 2 or less, which again works with like our Chilai or even our Surprise Attack Frieza. I felt like the need to have an actual like hard negate in the deck, especially one like this that you don't have to pay any energy for and you can actually take a life. Because moving on into the Dormant Potential Unleashed, so it's a 1-drop. If your leader card is a mono green, choose any number of your opponent's battle cards that add up to a total energy cost of 2 or less and KO them. Additionally, you may choose 1 green card in your hand and discard it. If you do, your opponent can only attack 1 more time this turn. And then permanent, if you have a green Unison card in play, you can activate this card's counter skill from your hand without paying its energy cost. So this card is really, really good, especially with a lot of decks that like to go really wide. You're looking at like the VJX and things like that that are super aggressive. You're able to drop this and you can play it for free, and then by pitching a card, something like the Ribrian, then they can only attack 1 more turn. Where some of the downsides to this card is because it doesn't actually negate the attack you're playing it against. Then for decks that like to go really tall, this card's mostly useless. So that's why I felt like having an actual negate outside of the Kakunsa, because Kakunsa does cost 2. So that's why the Shocking Death Ball is in here. I've seen a lot of lists that have just scrapped things like Shocking Death Ball and just going straight into the Dormant Potential Unleashed, which is a very strong card, but I do feel like we do need to have that backup of actual negate. So anyway, guys, that is the list. So we've kind of been back and forth on how we were going to do with the Unison. Originally, we were just running 4 of the Bardock, but we wanted to really get value out of the Dodoria and our leader skill, so we ended up switching it out and going for the Frieza Xeno, and then just only going to 2 of the Bardock. I do like the fact that, you know, near the end of the game, you can just pay 4, drop the Bardock, and then turn him into a 20k triple attack with critical with our leader. So he's able to really pressure a low opponent's hand, especially by the fact that he can neg a combo. So he can kind of clear out, so you can drop one of your other guys and kind of swing in for game, which is nice for us there. But there's a lot of different ways to go about it. We're going to be doing a lot of testing with this more on Tuesday. To kind of work out the kinks, but right now I'm pretty happy where the list is at. But if you have any questions, any thoughts, concerns, comments, suggestions, please feel free to link that down in the description below, or leave it down in the comments, excuse me. But other than that, guys, that is it, and we will see y'all next time.